so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Shoulder. Oh. Ready, cut.
Thank you, Jack Grant, for performing our national anthem. My name is Rick Barron. I'm the EVC of Health. The name Patriot Day conjures up many feelings: duty, sacrifice, honor, and pride. And it's easy to associate patriot and veterans, and there's a number of us veterans here today, but it's in no way a requirement to serve in the armed forces to be a patriot. We all can be patriots, and we are all patriots. Today is for us and our memories of those whose lives were lost an awful day 22 years ago. I can still vividly remember where I was when I learned what was happening. I was driving to work in Kansas City. It was just another day. And I heard over the radio that a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. I assumed it was a small civilian airplane. But then I got to work, and everyone had the radio and the TV on, and the horror unfolded. And I know each and every one of us here has a similar story that we remember. Our country has never been the same since that day. It was truly horrific. On that day, and in so many others since then, I've been struck by the bravery and patriotism of our nation's first responders. Our color guard today is composed of many of these fine people. We have Mizzou's ROTC branches, as well as the City Honor Guard, the Fire Department, Columbia Police Department, Mizzou Veterans Student Association, Mizzou Military Veterans Alumni Association, Fire and Rescue, MUPD, and the Missouri Task Force 1. They are all on hand today to celebrate and remember 9/11. So please join me in celebrating them and the sacrifices they have made and continue to make every day. So I would now like to welcome Mayor Barbara Buffalo to the stage to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Barron. Well, good morning. I'm Mayor Barbara Buffalo, and today we're joining together to remember that tragic day, September 11th in 2001. Each year as we approach this anniversary, we think about those nearly 3,000 who perished that day. Each of those deaths impacted so many families, even those who did not suffer. For those of us who remember that day, it is probably considered one of the most tragic days in our lives. As Dr. Barron mentioned what he was doing, I was a student at Mizzou, getting ready to go to my first class on the other side of Jesse Hall. And so being here on this day, in this place, is meaningful to me. For many parents of students, we didn't know what to expect. For many families watching on the TV and listening on the news, we didn't know the scope of the issues that we were going to see happen. That day shook our entire nation. And today, each of us is here because we remember those moments. Every year at this time, we reflect on them, speaking this morning to some of my friends, them talking about those moments. But it's also this unity and sharing that brings us together and helps provide comfort for those who are impacted. In addition to those who lost someone on that day, there's another group that we recognize. One thing that each of us can rely on in emergencies is our first responders. On September 11th, thousands of first responders from around the country helped rescue, recovery, and cleanup. Being mayor, I get to work closely with our own first responders. They're some of the bravest people I know. I also know that this day has special meaning for those in this line of work, and I want to commend the actions of those who provided a sense of security and continue to do so for us on many people's worst day. And I want to thank our own first responders who have accepted the challenge to continue to step up during tragic events like this one. I would also like today to give special thanks to members of our Missouri Task Force 1. At noon on September 11th, 2001, Fire Chief Scott Olson took the official activation call from the FEMA National Operations Center and received our activation and deployment orders for Missouri Task Force 1 to go to New York City. 62 brave men and women of Missouri Task Force 1 left their homes, their friends, and their families to deploy to New York City. Led by Task Force leader Doug Westhoff, Missouri Task Force 1 spent 10 days scouring the rubble that once was the World Trade Center, looking for survivors. The team returned home safely on Friday, September 21st. The following 16 personnel deployed to New York City on September 11th are here with us. Craig Bratton, he was a logistics specialist. Carter Blumeyer, communications specialist. Monty Conroe, rescue specialist. Les Cruz, rescue team manager. Kurt Doolady, rescue squad officer. Larry Duncan, heavy rigging and equipment specialist. Phil Good, rescue specialist. Paul Harris, medical specialist. Chuck Leek, medical specialist. Steve McLean, hazardous material specialist. Kathy Schiltz, canine search specialist. Matt Schofield, search team manager. Lee Turner, search team manager. Doug Westhoff, task force leader. And Steve Winters, technical. As we take today to remember 9/11, we can also channel our own strength. Take a moment to reach out to those who have been impacted or to thank someone you know that protects the safety in our community. After all, when we remember events like September 11th, we think about those that are lost, but we also think about these interactions that make a difference and make an impact on our comfort and caring for the future. Thank you.
Stand up for each other, even against great odds, to what we can overcome by working for something greater than ourselves. Thank you all for coming to our Patriots' Day celebration. And that concludes our 9/11 celebration today. Thank you very much.